Welcome to Mob Neighbor, where we serve you with authentic news, stories, documentaries, updates, and magazine-style insights on our society and the larger world, and more importantly, about places that fall under the radar of the mainstream media machinery. We invite you to embark on this exciting journey of enlightenment with us. Mob Neighbor, your vehicle of enlightenment.
Let us dive deep into a political crisis in Rivers State in Nigeria, a crisis that has far-reaching implications for the state, its people, and the future of politics as a whole. At the heart of this turmoil lies the conflict between two powerful figures, Siminalayi Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State, and Nwaeke, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, who was also the predecessor of Fubara. Former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi has made bold claims about the true nature of this political struggle. According to Amechi, this is not a battle over governance or leadership, but a fierce power struggle centered on one thing: money. Let us explore these claims and unpack the complex dynamics at play in Rivers State today. Before we go on, who is Rotimi Amechi? Rotimi Amechi is a prominent Nigerian politician and a former governor of Rivers State, serving from 2007 to 2015. He is a key figure in Nigerian politics, known for his influence within the South-South region, which includes Rivers State, and his strong political presence on the national stage. Amechi is a member of All Progressive Congress, which is Nigeria's ruling political party, though he was initially a member of the People's Democratic Party. Before switching parties, he is also recognized as a close ally of former President Muhammadu Buhari and has been involved in several national initiatives and projects. Amechi's tenure as governor of Rivers State was marked by significant infrastructure development, particularly in the state's capital, Port Harcourt. However, his administration was also fraught with political controversies and challenges, particularly in his relationship with political opponents. Let's talk about Amechi's relationship with Nwaeke. Amechi and Nwaeke, the current Federal Capital Territory Minister, the former governor of Rivers State, share a deeply complicated and hesitant relationship. At one point, they were political allies, but both were part of the People's Democratic Party and worked together within the party. However, the relationship soured when Amechi switched political allegiance to the All Progressives Congress. Amechi and Nwaeke have a long history of rivalry. After Amechi's departure from the PDP and his move to the APC, Nwaeke, who succeeded Amechi as governor of Rivers State in 2015, became his most vocal opponent. The animosity between the two has been widely covered in Nigeria media, with accusations of corruption, political betrayal, and power struggles. The rivalry is seen as a significant factor in the political dynamics of Rivers State, where both politicians have fought for control over the state's political landscape and resources. Siminalayi Fubara is the current governor of Rivers State, having assumed office in May 2023. He is a member of the People's Democratic Party and has been closely aligned with Nwaeke, his predecessor. Fubara's election as governor was largely seen as a continuation of Nwaeke's political influence in the state. Amechi's relationship with Fubara is more known, but also somewhat strained. Even though Fubara was a member of the political establishment that Amechi built during his tenure as governor, the relationship has been overshadowed by the current political crisis in the state. Amechi has accused both Fubara and Nwaeke of focusing more on personal power struggles rather than the welfare of Rivers State. In fact, Amechi's recent comments suggest he believes the political conflict between Fubara and Nwaeke is rooted in financial control rather than genuine concerns for governance. The allegations: Rotimi Amechi, a key player in Nigerian politics and the former governor of Rivers State, has alleged that the ongoing feud between Siminalayi Fubara and Nwaeke is nothing more than a battle for money. He openly questioned why the Nigerian public hasn't been more vocal about the lack of transparency and accountability surrounding the actions of these two influential figures. Amaechi was candid in his statement, asking why the public wasn't demanding answers from both politicians about what the dispute was truly about. He made a bold assertion: if the conflict wasn't about financial control, then what exactly was it about?
So the fight between the former governor of Rivers State and the FCT minister and the current governor is about sharing money. If not, what's the point? Nigerians don't dislike corruption again, because I've not seen anybody on the street shouting about what is the problem. Can both of them speak to the public and tell us what the problem is about?
The relationship between Amaechi and Nwaeke and Fubara is central to the political and economic dynamics of Rivers State and has broader implications for Nigeria politics. Each of the figures holds substantial influence, and their interactions shape the governance of Rivers State. Here is why they are significant. As a former governor and a key figure in the APC, Amaechi's influence extends far beyond Rivers State. His role as a national leader and his ties to the federal government mean that his statements and accounts regarding Rivers State politics can have ripple effects on the national stage. Amaechi's opposition to Nwaeke and Fubara positions him as a crucial voice in the current political crisis, particularly with his critique of the state of emergency imposed by President Tinubu. Nwaeke, as the former governor and now the Federal Capital Territory Minister, continues to wield significant power in Nigerian politics, particularly in South region. His ability to shape Rivers State politics and his influence in national political circles make him a crucial figure. Nwaeke's relationship with both Amaechi and Fubara underscores the deep political and personal rivalries that often define Nigerian politics. Nwaeke's actions and the current crisis, whether in the form of supporting the suspension of Fubara or his continued influence in Rivers politics, remain pivotal. Fubara represents the new political leadership in Rivers State. His significance lies on his role as the current governor, stepping into Nwaeke's shoes and continuing his legacy. However, Fubara's leadership is under scrutiny, especially following his suspension by President Tinubu. The political dynamics between Fubara, Nwaeke, and Amaechi are shaping his time in office. The current political crisis, especially the alleged fight over financial control, could define his legacy as governor. Let's look into broader political context. The struggle between these three men is not just a local issue, but it is a reflection on the broader power struggles that define Nigerian politics. Amaechi's relationship with Nwaeke and Fubara is symbolic of the larger divides within Nigerian political parties and regions. The rivalries represent not just personal animosities, but the fight for control over resources, influence, and power in one of Nigeria's richest and most politically significant states. Amaechi, Nwaeke, and Fubara also represent different political ideologies and approaches to the governance. Amaechi as a proponent of the APC and federal power, Nwaeke as a figure of strong regional leadership within the PDP, and Fubara as a continuation of Nwaeke's political influence in Rivers. Their interaction impacts not only Rivers State but could influence the future direction of Nigerian federalism, the role of state governors, and the political fortunes of their respective parties leading up to the 2027 elections. In essence, the significance of Amaechi, Nwaeke, and Fubara lies on their roles as power brokers in Rivers State and their involvement in the broader national political landscape, and the resolution of the conflict will likely have lasting effects on the state and the nation. The rivalries and alliances shape much of political discourse in Nigeria today. Should we say Amaechi's statements reflect his frustration with the political system in Nigeria. She pointed out that Nigerians don't seem to be questioning their leaders anymore. Corruption, it seems, has become so ingrained that people no longer demand transparency or accountability from those in power. Let's explore the key figures and their roles. To better understand the context of Ameshi's allegations, let's first take a control of the two main figures in this crisis, Siminalayi Fubara and Nwaeke. Siminalayi Fubara, the current governor of Rivers State, has found himself at the center of this political storm. His suspension by President Bola Tinubu has raised questions about the legality and fairness of such a drastic action. But beyond this, Fubara's relationship with the political establishment in Rivers is more complex. He was elected into office with strong backing from the ruling powers, and his sudden suspension has sparked an intense battle for political control in the state. On the other hand, Nwaeke, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, has been a dominant figure in Nigerian politics for years. Known for his brash style and political maneuvering, Nwaeke's involvement in this crisis is undeniable. Having served as the governor of Rivers State before Fubara, Nwaeke's influence over the political landscape in Rivers is still profound. His alleged role in orchestrating Fubara's suspension points to a deeper political agenda. Let's talk about the state of emergency. March 18, 2025 marked a turning point in the political turmoil in Rivers State when President Bola Tinubu declared a 6-month state of emergency in the state. This move shocked many, particularly when it resulted in a suspension of Governor Fubara, his deputy, and the entire State House of Assembly. Instead of a locally elected government, Tinubu appointed Vice Admiral Ekwe Ibas as sole administrator to oversee the state's affairs. The official reasoning behind the state of emergency was political instability and the raising menace of pipeline vandalism, but many, including Amechi, have raised doubts about the legitimacy of this action. Amechi has been vocal in condemning the president's decision, describing it as a dangerous precedent. He fears that this move could be used to remove governors at will, undermining the integrity of Nigeria's federal system. According to Amechi, this isn't just about Rivers State, it is about establishing a new political order where the presidency can control state government through extreme measures. He questions the timing and rationale behind the emergency rule, especially when compared to other regions of Nigeria that are also grappling with significant security challenges but haven't faced similar actions. The fight for financial control. Amechi's most contentious statements revolves around the claim that the current political struggle is really about money, not governance. He argues that the battle for control of financial resources has always been at the heart of Nigerian politics. Amechi believes that both Fubara and Nwaeke are fighting to control the financial flows of Rivers State, a state rich in resources and politically influential. Money, he suggests, is what truly drives the conflict. So, why should Nigerians ignore these fundamental issues? In Nigerian politics, financial control is often the key to power. Political figures control access to resources, patronage, and influence through the management of state funds. When Amechi talks about money, he is talking about the power that comes from controlling these resources. The struggle for financial supremacy between Fubara and Nwaeke is not just a fight for personal gain, but a contest for political dominance in Rivers State and by extension in Nigerian politics. Amechi's criticism of Fubara, especially after Fubara's suspension by President Bola Tinubu, further illustrates the tension between them. Amechi has pointed out that the situation represents a political power struggle, with Fubara caught between Nwaeke's influence and the federal government's actions. Let's talk about governance and financial power. Is this what governance is really about? Financial power? Amechi seems to suggest that the true function of leadership has been lost in the noise of financial warfare. Governance, at its core, is supposed to be about improving the lives of citizens through policies, development, and accountability. Yet, in this case, we see that the political elites have shifted the focus from service to power. Amechi challenges us to ask, why are Nigerians not was more vocal about peace. Why isn't there a widespread demand for transparency in governance? It is not just about Rivers State, though this issue is larger than one state, and it's not a new one in Nigerian politics. Amaechi's statement raises an uncomfortable truth. Financial power often outweighs the actual governance in many Nigerian political systems, and this ongoing crisis in Rivers is a manifestation of this imbalance. Shall we talk about political power struggles? As one of the crises rocking Rivers State, the political struggle in Rivers State is far from isolated. It reflects a broader trend of power struggles between state governors and the central government. Amaechi argues that President Tinubu's move to impose a state of emergency in Rivers State is part of a larger plan to assert control over governors who may not align with the federal government in future elections. Amaechi sees this as an effort by the president to frighten governors into submission ahead of the 2027 elections. But this is a sign of a larger national power struggle, or is it simply a reaction to a crisis of governance in Rivers State?
And then we are now denied democracy. So the Rivers State is the only state in the country that can practice democracy, where they've imposed a military rule on us. Secondly, is the fact that the president acted outside the constitution. Section 188 states how a governor can leave office, either by death or by resignation or by impeachment. It didn't say that one day you wake up and one man called the president of Nigeria will just wake up and throw you out of office. It makes democracy unstable. So that's what's going on in Rivers State. Between the president and the FCT minister. One, the president wants a power grab. They want to frighten governors who may likely not support them for 2027. And so the rumor is everywhere. If you're not careful, the president will remove you. If you're not careful, the president will remove you. So this is all about sharing money and 2027 politics. Stability. Tell me what is stability in Rivers State. Is it between the governor and the former governor or the FCT minister? The president says it's insecurity. Oh, they do the fine. What about the other parts of the country where there is insecurity? Is the president saying that he too, they should impose emergency rule on him? They can't, because he's a democratically elected president. Nobody can impose emergency rule on him because of the fact that there is serious insecurity in the northeast and the northwest, even in the southeast, even in the south-south. The fact that those pipes, if they were blown, I don't know what happened in Rivers State. The fact that it happened, the governor has no responsibility, has no security responsibility. Security responsibility rests squarely on the president. So why punish a man who did not commit an offense? First and foremost, the president reserves the right to declare state of emergency in areas of the country that have security challenges. Of course, the president has the right. Section 305, I think so, protects him, gives him that power. That section did not include the removal of the governor. If the framers of the constitution wanted to remove governor through state of emergency, they would have included it. Now they went to the same framers went to a separate section, section 188, and outlined the requirements for the removal of a governor. One of those requirements included impeachment, the death of a governor, or the resignation of the governor. It did not say that the president will wake up one day and just say, look, I've removed this governor. Then it means that the opposition will not have governors, because the day the president wakes up as a person in power, he will just remove all the opposition governors and put people who are loyal to him. Security in the constitution rests squarely in the decision of the president, completely. Because if the president can just wake up without you breaking the law and remove you, the president is not a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly. He is neither the speaker nor a member of the State Assembly. The president is not the governor of Rivers State. The governor of Rivers State has not resigned. The governor of Rivers State has not died. Then he announces the removal. How? The first solution I gave you was protest. The second solution I gave you was that the PDP governors should approach the court. And I think they are approaching the court. They are approaching the judiciary. Let's hear what the judiciary will
states. One thing is certain, the political dynamics in Nigeria are shifting, and the implications for future elections, both at the state and national level, could be profound. What is the public's role? Amaechi's comments raise an important question. Why haven't Nigerians demanded more from their leaders? He points out the public outrage over corruption and poor governance seems to be diminishing if the people are no longer questioning their leaders. What does that mean for the future of Nigerian democracy? Amaechi has called for the democratic protest to resist the state of emergency imposed on Rivers State. He warns that such actions could undermine constitutional governance and set a dangerous precedent for other states. But will the people of Rivers State rise to this call? And if they do, what will it mean for the future of governance in Nigeria? Let's look into possible broader implications of this on Nigerian politics. Just on an assertion note, this crisis in Rivers State is not just a local issue. It has a wider implication on Nigeria's political aspects. The question of who controls the financial resources of the state, how elections are conducted, and how power is distributed between the federal and state governments are all central to the country's future. If Nigerians do not demand accountability and transparency from their leaders, what kind of democracy will the next generation inherit? This situation is still unfolding, and the political drama in Rivers State is far from over. But one thing is clear: the battle for money and political power is central theme in Nigeria's political system. However, there are too much controversies surrounding Governor Fubara of Rivers State, which has been escalating narrative segment that highlights the drama and urgency of the crisis, integrating the recent explosive allegations and emotional turmoil in the state. And an instance of another emotional turmoil is described by Florence and Dr. Nwaeke. This is as another crisis escalates: chaos, kidnapping, fears, and calls for accountability. Recent developments have pushed the Rivers State crisis into an even darker phase. Fresh explosive allegations have emerged that not only expose questionable state accusations, but also hints at a sinister web of coercion, violence, and possible kidnapping. This was a former head of Rivers State Civil Service, Dr. George Nwaeke, now claims that Governor Fubara himself ordered the bombing of the State House of Assembly complex back in 2023. According to Dr. Nwaeke, the drastic action was a desperate bid for Fubara to stave off impeachment proceedings initiated by lawmakers loyal to Minister Nyesom Wike. Dr. Nwaeke recounted that he was at the government house when a mysterious bag of money was handed over to a man identified as Edenton Ihe, money that was meant to finance this operation. He challenged Governor Fubara to an open confrontation, promising to reveal more details if pressed.
Good afternoon, also. This is a press briefing by my humble self, Dr. George Nwaeke, FCA, MNI, immediate past head of service of Rivers State. My dear people of Rivers State, it is with humility and every sense of responsibility and a sense of patriotism that I stand to address you today as your former head of service and someone who served from my heart. You would recall that I was appointed as head of service by our suspended governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Grand Service of Rivers State. Let me also use this opportunity to appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to serve as head of service. With loads of misinformation on print and electronic media, I've chosen to put the records straight. I was not sacked, neither was I pressured to resign. I did so willingly from the depth of my heart. However, as an insider and a key player in the administration, and by my position, who worked closely with the suspended governor, it would be unfair for me to keep mute. or for me not to address some key factors that have affected or that will affect our state if we continue on this trajectory. And I pause to say that good men must talk so that things will be put right. I want to use this medium to thank Mr. President for a swift intervention in Rivers State crisis, especially on the declaration of the state of emergency that was declared and assented to by our National Assembly. You will recall that when the governor was suspended as head of service, I was the next in command, so I'm not speaking as an outsider or as a novice. I'm speaking as an insider and as someone that has much information. If not for the intervention of Mr. President, Nigeria would have faced the worst economic sabotage and Rivers State would have been in flames, and by extension, other neighboring states, because of the level of insider destruction that I saw. First, it all started with the State House of Assembly, where the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, directed his chief of staff to burn down the assembly in a way to avert the suspected impeachment. That evening, Edison was in Government House with many of his boys, including the former chairman of Abuja, one Mr. Chichoke. I was there with them when a bag of money was handed over to Edison for that operation, though I did not actually know what it was meant for or the amount inside. I want to tell Rivers people today, the House Assembly was complex. Moscow Road was clearly brought down by the two of Edison and some of his gods under the instruction of the sitting government. I challenged them to an open confrontation, and this will make us throw more light on this. A day after that incident, I almost resigned, but I was very scared because I know the power of a sitting governor. And he knew that I'm aware of the whole plan and that I am discomforted with the unconscionable acts and deliberate posture of innocence and mere affiliation. Another attempt was also made to destroy the residential quotas of the House of Assembly members, if not for the press conference that was made there by Rivers youths, Rivers elders and National Assembly members. Now that would have been another barbaric demolition in Rivers State. I came to realize that they actually wanted to demolish that second building because after some weeks, he, the governor, personally told me, talking of others, that he knew that if he knew early, he would have gone to pull down their hall before visiting the residential quarters of the assembly, and that he didn't actually know what they had, that they had such a beautiful hall where they are using now for sitting. I was so shocked. And I asked myself, how could a man that wants to lead his people be destroying his state's assets and wasting public funds in a needless ego fight? Thirdly, I want to advise some key stakeholders who have condemned the state of emergency made by the President and confirmed by the National Assembly to retract their statements. They are speaking from points of ignorance. I also understand that they are only seeing the surface. Yes. If they had knowledge, they would even be commended by the President. If the President did not take proactive steps, no one knows who would have been affected by the sinister plans that we are cooking. While I thank Mr. President for the state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State for a period of 6 months, I will plead with him not to give up on Rivers State affairs because a lot is going on there with Governor Fubara. One of the factors that got me removed was when Governor Fubara told me that they will use the judge to decide who will become the next president of Nigeria. And I asked him, how will that work? Is it by votes or by what means? I'm still worried. He clearly told me that he is the chief secretary of Rivers State and his brother is in charge of Bayelsa State. And all the pipelines are under their care, that at the appropriate time, they will tell the boys what to do, and fund was not an issue at all. That was when he made that statement in his public function, that, and I quote, I will tell the boys what to do at the appropriate time. Deep down in me, I knew that something was up, and perhaps the time was near. He posted to be the David that will bring down the Goliath of Rivers State. That he has the backing of the cream de la cream in the state, the likes of our former governor, Dr. Peter Dele, and family promised to use their contacts in the judiciary, including some members of the University Council, to break new ground for him. The plan was to start from the just-speaking areas to destroy oil facilities, to remove attention from the job and make it have a statewide look. The Goni, Oyibo, and other areas were to be bombed first before the Jozons. This would have brought down the government of President Tinubu and usher in a new president from the coalition of political parties with the vice president possibly himself as he was. The media was recaptured by paying heavily for airtime and retaining the social media influencers and non-social critics in their payroll. I'm not aware of what this revelation means, but I'm doing this to free my conscience and warn those innocent persons that are used to sway public sentiment that there is more than meets the eyes in the universe matter. Sometimes I sleep over in government house that started becoming very uncomfortable when Governor Bala Muhammad and some other stakeholders started several natural visits to Rivers State. I recall that one of such visits, he told me that he would support Bala Muhammad for president or any other northerner. That discussion is still ongoing. There was no bothered about who he supports or not. I was more concerned about the quantum of state resources that were being released to these visitors at each of those unwanted visits. Let me draw the attention of Nigeria Labour Congress to call the chairman of the Rivers State chapter to order to avoid politicizing Labour. I am privy to several private meetings between the governor and the Labour leaders in the state, and largesse that accompanied each meeting to compromise the Labour union. And I was asked, why? What is actually the benefits to get from all this unnecessary destruction? More worrisome is several meetings between the governor, his chief of staff, and some military leaders. Details of these meetings I'm not privy to, since I was not allowed into such meetings. However, each meeting ended with huge sums of money greater than this in currency. I wish to state categorically that Rivers people are indeed Nigerians are the beneficiary of the declaration of state of emergency rule in Rivers State, and not Governor Fubara. Neither is it our former minister, Chief Nwaeke. Finally, I wish to call on Mr. President to urge the civil administrator to step up his guards and be very vigilant, because I am aware of the sinister arrangements and dastardly plans to continue to hatch their plans if not put in check. This accounts for the organized media condemnations and seeming public outcry against Mr. President and National Assembly. Those who love democracy, those who love Rivers State, those who love development in any ramification, and those who love humanity in general will always protect humanity and democracy. Mr. President, sir, we have just protected democracy and humanity in Rivers State. You are our hero in Rivers State. Thank you, sir. I can now sleep, having cleared my conscience. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Long live Rivers State. This is personally signed by me, Dr. George Nwaeke, FCA, MNI, former head of service of Rivers State.
However, the situation took an unexpected turn when a disturbed woman named Florence, allegedly the wife of Dr. Nwaeke, appeared on national television in a heart-rending plea. Florence claimed that the man seen in the interview was not her husband, insisting that the real Dr. Nwaeke had gone missing after landing in Abuja. In a series of anguished messages, she pleaded Nigerians to help her as her husband is in trouble. Filled with desperation and fear, she revealed that her husband had resigned under duress, pressured by powerful forces to sign documents that would implicate Governor Fubara in this reckless act.
It's what he's handing over to them, that he doesn't know anything about this 15 billion they're talking about. They said Abuja gave them every information they need, that my husband is trying to cover Fubara. He said he's trying to cover the governor, that they have heard that it's his friend. They have heard that it's his friend though, that he's just trying to cover up. My husband says he's not like covering up anything, that he doesn't think that there's anything like that. There's anything like 15 billion naira, that he's not aware, that he's just the head of service. He doesn't know anything about finance of the state. So when they pressured him to sign that document, he said he will not sign. That instead of him to sign, he will resign. He just resigned and called me in the office. I was in the office when he called me that he has resigned. I said, what happened? He said, till I come back. When I came back, I asked him. He started telling me that they brought a document, but that the document is that they found another $15 billion that the governor did not declare, and he told that he doesn't know anything about that one. That what he handed over to them is what the governor handed over to him. And when they pressurized him, he said no. Instead of all this wahala, let him leave them. He now wrote his resignation that he's not working again. He cannot come and sign what he does not know. He cannot come and sign what is not true. Where is the 15 billion naira coming from that he would not sign? Instead of signing him go, that was how he resigned. So this morning he told me that his friend, one of his friends from Abuja, I think he said his name is Ogiri. He said it's Ogiri from Abuja, that he has sent him ticket to court and let them discuss. I said okay, but I have more this Sunday. And today is our dinner. Today being Friday, it's our dinner party. I told him to stay at night till Monday. Let us finish this program. He said he would just go and come back. Let him just go and know where he's calling him. That was how he left. When he got to airport, when he got to Abuja, he got that they have landed. I said thank God. He said he will keep me posted. That was all. The next thing I saw this morning, I had this night, people were calling me and said they got an interview. I said what interview? Interview for what? What was it I saw? Things flying on internet. That he got an interview. That's what happened. I said that is not my husband. That is not my husband. So I sent him a message. I said, are you under duress? I sent him a message. I said, have they kidnapped you? Talk to me now. Why are you not talking to me? Where's the message I sent to him? Send the message I sent to him. I sent to him message when I saw this online. Oh, Jesus help me. Nigeria help me. My husband is in trouble. 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 Look at the message I sent to him. See the message I sent to him. I said, Daddy, why? I said, where are you in hostage? I said, why didn't you talk to me? He said, the message I sent to him. Oh, he did not reply me. His numbers are not going through. Nigeria's help me.
This emotional outburst has fueled rampant speculation if Dr. Nwaeke was actually kidnapped, if he is actually being held under coercion, and what further dark secrets does the governor's administration wish to keep hidden. In her tearful account, she described frantic attempts to contact him, messages left unanswered, numbers that wouldn't connect, and the chilling silence that has left her place pleading for public intervention, adding to the chaos. Dr. Nwaeke, in a subsequent interview, disclosed that the bombing of the assembly complex was not an isolated act of destruction. He revealed that there was a second attempted demolition targeting the residential quarters of the lawmakers, which was only thwarted by swift action from Rivers youths, elders, and National Assembly members. Dr. Nwaeke expressed his horror at a leader who would deliberately destroy state assets, waste public funds, and sacrifice the democracy process for an ego-driven power struggle. Amid the swirling chaos in Rivers State, new developments added yet another layer of controversy and confusion. The former head of service vehemently denied the disturbing claims made by his wife Florence regarding his alleged kidnapping. In an early Saturday video, Dr. Nwaeke stated clearly that he is in court to meet with security agencies in Abuja and report himself, along with the troubling events unfolding in Rivers State. He emphasized that his resignation as head of state tendered recently on 24th of March was a voluntary act prompted by his deep concern over ongoing crisis, not a result of any coercion or abduction. He recalled that he saw a video of his wife trending where she was told he had been kidnapped. He said his wife was told he had been kidnapped and even given a script to read. He debunked the claim and said he is safe and sound in Abuja.
Have been kidnapped. I want to clear this car, not kidnapped. And Abuja, this is transport purpose. They are blocked. And they do that I was kidnapped and it's crime, and they wrote a script for her to say all sorts of things. I want to give you strength. I'm the head of service. And I'm on proof. My wife does not know the things I have been after. I'm responsible amount of things for her. It's only my mistake or social matter that we discuss. So that's who they wrote for her. It's not a point. I want to clear the air that I am safe, I'm fine, I'm in Abuja. But tomorrow morning, I intend to go to the to protect myself. So my coming to Abuja was based on the fact that Abuja is where all the headquarters of the businesses are housed. So I came here and I think I'm safe here to make this report here. So I can investigate, and I'm saying that I'm on coach for allowing any operation to take me up. Important is exactly what I know. And I said everything from my mind. I want to reassure you that everything I said is true.
Dr. Nwaeke's statement stands in stark contrast to the heart-trending broadcast by his wife, Florence, who appeared visibly disturbed on national television. In her desperate plea, she recounted how she was unable to reach her husband after seeing an online interview that she claimed was not even his voice. The discrepancy between these two accounts has only deepened public uncertainty. On one hand, we have Dr. Nwaeke calmly asserting that he voluntarily reported to security agencies in Abuja and that the claims of kidnapping are nothing more than a manufactured narrative, possibly the result of someone misleading his wife with a prepared script. On the other hand, Florence's impassioned outcry, in which she repeatedly begged for her husband's safe return, paints a picture of vulnerability and fear that has resonated with many Nigerians. Those personal revelations are intertwined with earlier explosive allegations allegations that have rocked the state. Dr. Nwaeke had previously accused Fubara of ordering bombing of the State House Assembly complex in 2023. He stated that he headed to Abuja to relay issues that have been disturbing him, adding that most of these issues led to him resigning as head of service of Rivers State. Recently, reacting, Governor Fubara dismissed these allegations outright. He claims that Dr. Nwaeke is simply fulfilling promises made to individuals who may have paid or coerced him into making such statements. Fubara's dismissal of these explosive claims, coupled with his outcry denial of any wrongdoing, has only further polarized opinion among political observers and the public. What makes this saga even more complex is the ripple effect has on public trust. The conflicting narratives from a resigned official in Abuja to a panicked spouse on live television, and from bold accusations of state-sponsored violence to stern denials by the governor, have left Nigerians questioning the very integrity of their political system. It is merely a power struggle driven by the battle for financial control and political dominance, or is there a darker, more sinister element at work, one that uses fear, misinformation, and personal tragedy to manipulate people's opinion and consolidate power? As the controversy deepens, voices from across Rivers State and beyond are calling for transparency, accountability. Citizens are demanding clear answers about what really transpired during those fateful days in 2023, and might be urging all parties involved to come forward with evidence. Meanwhile, their conflicting accounts serve as a grim reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions when subjected to intense internal strife and unchecked power plays. In this climate of uncertainty, the stakes are incredibly high, not only for the individuals involved, but for the future of governance in Rivers State and Nigeria as a whole. The public is left to wonder, how will these tangled narratives be reconciled? What measures will be taken to restore trust in a system where personal rivalries and political ambitions threaten to upend the democratic process? Amid an already explosive political landscape in Rivers State, the drama has reached new unprecedented high. In a forceful response, Fubara branded the claims as false, misleading, and particularly motivated accusations. Fubara shot these claims down as laughable and baseless, questioning how a civil servants would have access to discussions of such high-level political strategy. He reminded everyone that Governor Bala Mohammed's visit to Rivers State was public knowledge. He is, after all, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum, and nothing secret was ever taking place. It is ludicrous for Dr. Nwaeke to claim that he was privy to any meetings aimed at inciting attacks or the nation's vital infrastructure. This was according to Fubara. Fubara noted that at no time did he ever conspire with militants or any criminal group. He said he has consistently preached peace and stability even when faced with relentless provocations in the state. Fubara further alleged that Dr. Nwaeke had been compromised by external forces, making his accusations nothing more than a calculated smear campaign intended to discredit his administration. He, however, called on all well-meaning Nigerians and the good people of the state to disregard everything said by Nwaeke. According to him, these claims are part of a desperate plot to undermine the hard-won peace effort his governments and the federal government are making together. Yet, as if the political arena wasn't turbulent enough, these denials have only served to fan the flames of public unrest. The conflicting narratives, Dr. Nwaeke explosive claims, his wife's heart-wrenching distress calls, and now Fubara's forceful reputation have plunged Rivers State into a midstream of suspicion and fear. Rumors swirl about secret meetings, covert deals, and even the possibility of more violent actions lurking just around the corner. Stakeholders ranging from local community state leaders to national political analysts may now brace for what might come next. Some might whisper that this is just a calm before a storm, a prelude to further revelations that could shake the very foundations of power in Rivers State. Could it be that the battle over money and political dominance will soon spiral into open conflict? Will further evidence emerge that either corroborates or contradicts these explosive claims? The tension is palpable, and every new statement only deepens the mystery. As the lines are drawn and every word is scrutinized, one question remains at the forefront. What is the true cause of this power struggle for the people of Rivers State and for Nigerian democracy itself? What loyalties in blogs and straws in the highest offices eroding by the day? The stage is set for a confrontation that could redefine the future of governance in this troubled region. Let's all stay tuned, because in the coming days and weeks, more revelations are sure to emerge. Reportedly, the storm is far from over, and the next chapter in this saga could change everything. Subscribe to Mognable now and hit the notification bell, because you won't want to miss what happens next. Thank you.